Hello my audiophile friends and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing my brand new pair of SVS Ultra Evolution bookshelf speakers. I'm going to give you my listening impressions on how these speakers sound in a variety of different room sizes, as well as how they perform during movies and music. Before I start this review, I wanted to mention that I purchased these speakers with my own money, and SVS did not pay me to do this review. The goal of this channel is to better inform enthusiasts about the products that they are interested in. With that being said, my heart and passion is really in the look inside videos that I do. In my look inside videos, I tear down the speaker and go over the TS parameters of the drivers, cabinet construction, port tuning, and crossover design. In my opinion, I think informing yourself about these data points that I do in my look inside videos are far more interesting and informative than any subjective speaker review by some person that I don't even know. SVS has a phenomenal return policy and probably the best customer service in the industry. So I urge anyone who is seriously interested in these speakers to try them out for themselves and make your own conclusions about them. Since I don't really have my heart in these reviews, this might be the last one that I do. To be honest, I don't think I'm all that good at it, and I refuse to use the audiophile vocabulary that I think most viewers want to hear. I'm more of a straight and to the point kind of guy, so if I like something, I'm going to tell you about it, in simple terms, without all that audiophile mumbo jumbo. With that being said, I hope this review is informative and that my opinion is somewhat helpful in your decision-making process. So what's included when you buy a brand new pair of SVS Ultra Evolution bookshelf speakers? Well, you get two Ultra Evolution bookshelf speakers. Only one is pictured here. You get a pair of grills. And the nice thing about these grills is they're not cheap and flimsy. These are well-made grills. They do attach magnetically, which is pretty slick. Let me show you. So that's pretty cool. You also get some paperwork with the speakers. Right here's the owner's manual. And it is well written, and it provides some tips on how to position the speakers, how to connect them, how to care for the finish, and then they also talk about the 5-year warranty. So well written manual, nice job SVS. Then they also include a catalog of the other products that they offer. I primarily know them as a subwoofer company. I've had quite a few of their subwoofers over the years, never had any problems with them. The amplifiers hold up. I have an SB16 right now, and I think it's going on 4 years old at the moment, and no issues whatsoever with it. Also have an SB3000, which I absolutely enjoy as well. So you can't blame them for including this catalog, because they do make some nice subwoofers. And right here's the box that my speakers came in. Both speakers were packaged in this box, and since I got the gloss black versions, they were individually wrapped in this material. It's like a sock that goes over them to protect the finish, and then they were wrapped individually in plastic bags, and then they use styrofoam to separate the speakers and also protect them during transit. So that's everything you get when you purchase a set of SVS Ultra bookshelf speakers. So let me get them hooked up and I'll tell you how they sound. I'm going to first set up the speakers in my first floor living room. This living room is part of an open floor plan design where the living room, dining room, and kitchen are all open to each other. I would consider this room to be large in size, and it's between 850 and 900 square feet. The electronics in this room consist of Rotel separates. I'm using a Rotel RSP 1580 processor and a Rotel RMB 1575 Class D amplifier. The only speakers playing during this test will be my SVS Ultra Evolution bookshelf speakers and my SVS SB3000 subwoofer, which I will say blends quite beautifully with these speakers. As for the processor configuration, the speakers will be configured as size small and the subwoofer will be cut over at 80 Hz. The first movie I popped in was War of the Worlds starring Tom Cruise, and I immediately was impressed by the large soundstage and dynamic range that these speakers are able to produce. When these speakers are paired with a quality subwoofer like the SB3000, then the sub and speakers work seamlessly together, as if they are one big pair of tower speakers. Even my wife had commented on the large presentation that these speakers were able to deliver, and that's pretty rare because she hardly ever makes comments about my speakers. I think this is her way of saying that she likes them. When paired with a subwoofer, these speakers had no problem filling my large first floor living room with sound during our movie watching sessions, which is impressive considering these are bookshelf speakers. If you plan on using these speakers strictly for movies, regardless of what size room they are going in, then you will still need a good quality subwoofer to pair them with. Even though these speakers have impressive bass for their size, it isn't enough for movies, regardless of how small the room is. I would recommend something like the SP3000 because of how well this subwoofer paired with them during my demos. Even my Rel HT1205 sounded pretty seamless with the Ultra Evolutions. I'm sure there are other subwoofer options out there that will work just as well with the Ultra Evolutions, but these were the two out of my arsenal that really seemed to work extraordinarily well with them. In my opinion, center channels for a theater room are a must. But I know everyone's budget is different, so I like to test my speakers without a center to see how well they will perform with dialogue. It's been my experience that some speakers, especially ones with high Q drivers, can be a bit difficult at times to hear and understand dialogue from. During my movie watching sessions with the Ultra Evolution speakers, all of the dialogue was easy to understand, natural sounding, and required no bumps in the volume control in order to clearly understand what was being said. We were especially impressed with how the sounds would disappear into the room, giving the listener a multi-dimensional sound experience that was quite impressive for such a small bookshelf speaker. In my opinion, the tweeter on the Ultra Evolution is quite a bit better than the outgoing model, and it has really given this series a nice bump in performance. Here's a quick sound demo of the Ultra Evolutions during War of the Worlds.
There's nothing else down there.
The water main doesn't run through here.
Well, there's something down there and it's moving.
I tried providing a sound demo, so hopefully it was somewhat helpful. I know this room isn't the best for this kind of thing, but wanted to provide it just in case. I am very impressed with the movie performance from the Ultra Evolutions. They performed very well in a variety of different room sizes, including my large first floor living room, which can be challenging for most speakers of this size. But it wasn't for the Ultra Evolutions. These speakers had no problem engulfing my large room with good clean sound, and the off-axis performance was equally as impressive. Now let's see how these speakers sound in a music setting. Now let's see how the Ultra Evolutions sound during music. Now I'm going to have the subwoofer turned off because I want to see how well their bass extension is in this large area. For my music listening sessions, I fired up my usual 70s, 80s, and 90s music to test these speakers out with. I was thoroughly impressed with the bass output that these speakers were able to produce considering they only have 6.5-inch drivers in them. And this room is almost 900 square feet in size. Now, I'm not saying these were shaking the house or making pictures fall off the walls from their bass extension, but what I am saying is that the bass output was adequate, enough so that I think some people might be completely content with not having a subwoofer connected. That's impressive considering how large my first floor living room is. So you can only imagine how the bass performance will increase when I place them in smaller rooms. Next, I placed the speakers in my theater room, which is quite a bit smaller than my first floor living room, but I would consider this room medium in size. Again, the bass performance was quite impressive, and I was completely content listening to them in this room without a subwoofer. However, adding a subwoofer does add more dimension and impact, so much so that you would probably think these are large tower speakers. So it really boils down to how much bass you, the listener, prefers. Personally, I prefer listening with a subwoofer because of the bigger impact that you get with bass notes, but I would also be plenty happy without a subwoofer too. As a previous owner of the original Ultra bookshelf speakers, I wasn't all that impressed with them. I thought the tweeter could be a bit harsh and two-dimensional at times, but these new Ultra Evolution models are nothing like what I experienced in the past. In my opinion, the biggest difference between the original series and the new Ultra Evolution series is in the tweeter. SVS has really gotten the recipe right for this new tweeter design, and it's probably one of the best that I have heard at this price point. The highs are extremely detailed and smooth without being fatiguing to listen to. The way the high frequencies radiate around you and fill the room with sound is impressive. We're at that part in the review where we do the sound comparisons. Right now I have my KEF Q350s hooked up, and I'm going to be comparing them to my SVS Ultra Evolutions. The KEF Q350s have a retail price of $799. The SVS Ultra Evolutions have a retail price of $1199, I believe, or $1198, somewhere around there, just under $1,200. So the two speakers sound quite a bit different, and they should. One's more than the other, and I'm hoping to convey that difference through this video camera. So hopefully you guys can hear some of the differences between the two. At the end, I'll tell you what I hear as far as differences between these two speakers. So let me fire up some royalty-free music and let you guys have a listen.
And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go.
I understand that trying to capture the differences between these two speakers can be difficult to do on camera, so let me tell you what I heard. The Ultra Evolutions have a tiny bit more impact in bass output than my KEF Q350s, and those bass notes were also more defined and cleaner sounding. In my opinion, where these two speakers differ is in the high frequencies. The KEFs are what I consider a very neutral sounding speaker, while the SVSs are brighter sounding, but not to the point of fatigue like the Focal Aria 906 that I reviewed a few months back. Again, this all boils down to what type of sonic signature you prefer in a speaker. The Ultra Evolution's new tweeter is really great at engulfing its listener in sound. The tweeter is smooth with plenty of dimension and depth, while the KEFs are a bit more laid back and don't have quite the same dimension and depth that the SVSs have. Probably the best way I can put it is to think of the Ultra Evolutions as a 4K ultra high definition disc, and the KEFs are a Blu-ray disc. Either way, I think both speakers are great for their respective price points, but I do prefer the Ultra Evolutions a bit more when compared to the Q350s. In my opinion, the new SVS Ultra Evolutions are a very impressive set of bookshelf speakers for their price point. I was especially impressed with how well these speakers filled my large first floor living room with sound. These speakers have great dynamic range, a large sound stage, and pretty impressive bass for a bookshelf speaker. At $11.98 per pair, I think they offer great value. I get the impression that SVS engineers took their time getting some of the smaller details just right. If you have seen my look inside video, then you already know that I saw no audible cabinet resonances taking place during my impedance sweep. This indicates a well-built, very rigid cabinet that is as quiet as a church. The mid-range driver also measured well on my bench too. This driver is well damped, has low voice coil inductance, and BL is pretty strong for being a 6.5-inch driver. Even the speaker basket for the mid-range driver is made from die-cast aluminum instead of the much cheaper stamped steel variety that I normally see. This attention to detail is nice to see. The biggest difference between the new series and the old series is the shape of the cabinet and the diamond tweeter. In my opinion, the looks of the time-aligned cabinet give the speaker a much higher end look, and the new tweeter design has really impressed me in terms of smoothness and detail. I'm definitely a big fan of their new diamond tweeter. After watching several videos with SVS engineers in them talking about the design methodology of the new Evolution series, I could tell these guys are very passionate about what they do, and that they also spent considerable time getting the small details right. All in all, I am very happy with my speakers, and I would have no problem recommending this new series to family and friends. And that's my review video of the brand new Ultra Evolution bookshelf speakers. If you'd like to see more review videos, make sure to hit that like button. I treat likes as votes on which videos I should do more of next. So long, and happy listening.